All right, I have here a sample timesheet. Let me get this up into the screen. This is an example with me as a Commissioner of Academic Affairs. This timesheet will work for July of 2024 for just about anyone other than our executive team because they've had some extra responsibilities. Um, and you might see these listed slightly differently. I'll be going through and updating this on everyone's timesheet to say ASCC instead of SBO, Calbright Academy of Leaders instead of Emerging Leaders, and we will be adding training onboarding. So your timesheet's going to say, oops, it's going to look like this to begin with. And then we have this Emerging Leaders homework down here. We're not going to worry about right now. This is an example for how to complete week 1 of your timesheet. First of all, just verify we have your name correct up here. And these items on the top half of your timesheet, the weekly checklist, these are the items that we may add some to your timesheet over the course of the term, but these are items that you will see all term long. So for instance, everyone should be attending the monthly ASCC meeting in the 3rd week of the month. Eventually, pretty soon here, we'll have the Calbright Academy of Leaders, which will be about an hour per week. We can count up to 1 hour per week of just general Slack communication, responding to the celebration channel posts with emoji, posting uplifting, inspiring, encouraging, funny materials to the Hangout and Student Life channels, supporting students in the support channel. So just in general, you can count, go ahead and record everything you do, but it'll count up to a maximum of 4 hours per month of general Slack communication. And then special projects are items that might just be for 1 month, they might be 1 or 2 months, but they're not necessarily going to be the same things all term long. So for instance, our current special project is onboarding and or training, whichever you want to call that. So in our first week, you have probably engaged in some communication on Slack, whether that was supporting students, responding to other officers. If you spent about half an hour on that in the first week, you would put a 0.5 to represent 1/2 hour. And then for onboarding and training, this may vary a little bit for each person. And if it's helpful, you can always put a little record off to the side here. So for instance, in week 1, some things that you may have engaged in, we had our first async training. And maybe that took you an hour. Maybe you spent an hour and a half on that. Maybe you spent 45 minutes. That would be 0.75 hours. Okay, whatever amount of time that was you spent on asynchronous training in your first week. We had a actual 1 hour long live Zoom training on Friday, so that was about 1 hour there. We had a virtual mixer, and because we asked everyone to attend this virtual mixer will be something that would count on your timesheet. We want to have that time to get to know each other, so we had an hour for that. And then if you had a one-on-one meeting with an executive or you did anything else in addition to that, you might add that to your training. I'm going to say for this example, maybe we spent about an hour and a half on the asynchronous training and responding to officers, all of that during that week. You could estimate that. So maybe that comes out to about 3.5 hours of onboarding and training in our first week. We don't need to keep this, it's just helpful if you want to try to add those things up. And then we would see that over the course of this week, we had a half hour here, we had 3.5 hours here, and just see, oh, I'm going to go ahead and fix anything. I'll go through the timesheets, double check everything's working properly. This got pasted the wrong way. So I will fix the formulas. Here we go. And then eventually this will show the full hours up front. So I'll be updating that for you. You don't have to worry about it. and that is how you'd fill in your timesheet. This is the part that's off. There we go. All right, so you don't have to worry about that. I'll fix that. You fill this part in. I will be updating these. We just started using these timesheets the end of last term. You will notice across the bottom here we have some different tabs. I numbered these just by the month number of the term. So this is month 1 of our term. You're welcome if you want to double click and change that to say July, you may. There is a tab for each month. They're pre-labeled with August and so forth. And you'll see that anything you enter in the first month will by default carry over to the next month. And then this last tab is the 6-month summary. You won't be able to edit anything on this sheet except this cell right here. So this is the place to write any notes all term long. Maybe you point out you were on a pre-approved 2-week vacation during August, or for instance, we've had an officer who changed from student support specialist to chief executive assistant after 2nd month. Anything you'd like the exec team and advisors to see, you can enter in there just all term long. We will review those, and then after each month, we will review these and approve these across here and identify how much stipend you've earned, so much for each month. The specific details on some of these may change over the next month or two as the Rules and Regulations Committee continues its work on stipend guideline revisions. So we're not going too much in depth on this other than do watch for your minimum expected involvement per month. So this is actually not the Commissioner of Academic Affairs number. This is the President number, which is 24 hours per month. That's what we're looking at, is just the overall hours worked for the entire month. If you have any questions, please feel free to DM me. I set up these spreadsheets. I'll be going through fixing any errors in the spreadsheet. So if you see something, let me know. See something, say something via a Slack DM, and I will work on making sure everything is in good shape here over the next couple weeks. Thank you so much.